with just a quote, one of my favorite quotes from a woman named Cynthia Ocelli. And the quote, I'm just adjusting this camera really quick. The quote goes as such: "For the seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must first come completely undone. Its shell cracks, its insides spill out, and for those who didn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction." So that is one of my favorite quotes, and it works perfectly in line with what I am observing is going on today in the energetic storm that seems to be occurring the last 3 months. I personally am seeing a lot of a relationship disillusion, a lot of illness, particularly cancer, financial changes. And so I wanted to kind of like touch on this a little bit. I think my video qualities or the light's okay, so if it needs to be brighter and anyone's on here, nobody's on here yet, but if anyone does get on here, let me know the video quality needs to be better. Why does life seem to fall apart before the manifestation shows up? It seems like, I know in my own personal experience, and I'll give you an example in just a second, that when something is really about to be like I'm about to be thrust forward into this really expansive situation, that everything seems, not everything, things within that particular context seem to fall apart. And it goes in tandem with the quote that I used, right? And there's so many quotes that can express that just as clearly. I just seem to really love that one. But let me give you a story before we get into that. So I will do a video on this, a little shorter video on this in the next week or two. But it was, my birthday was June 6th. Hey, happy birthday to me. So that was 2 weeks ago. Today is my 9-year anniversary with my beautiful wife, Shauna, who is taking a walk with Odin while I am here. But so was it 2 days? 2 days before my birthday, the Wednesday, my birthday was on Friday the 6th, and 2 days before that, June 4th, I was driving back from work to home, and as I'm going up this hill, I look over to my right and I see this car that I've been eyeing. It's a Lexus IS350 all-wheel drive, and I see it coming up the ramp with me, and I just think to myself, wow, that's a good-looking car. And within a split second, one split second, I kid you not, my gas hesitated, and then my dashboard started flickering, going crazy. Check engine, traction control, ABS brakes. Like, my dashboard was just going blinking, blinking, blinking. So I'm like, what is going on with my car? So I'm driving up the hill. It only takes me about 30 seconds to get to the top. I come on down into this, we call it Washoe Valley, this area, and I get into I'm driving for another 2 minutes after this happens. Still my lights are flashing, my gas just won't go any faster. And I look behind me and I go, am I smoking? And I look behind me, and sure as can be, I've got white smoke pouring out of my exhaust pipes. So I pull over, get the tow to come take me to the mechanic shop, yada, 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 everything's fine. There was gas all over, oil all over the top of my engine, and I thought to myself, okay, I just blew my engine. I was like, oh God, I love my car. I called my car, my Subaru WRX, White Lightning. I called it White Lightning. And I loved my car, but I was like, maybe I've just been having all these issues. Maybe it's time to get a new car, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have the financial resources at my disposal that I really want, right? I really, really want to have all the money possible to get a new car or to get a car that I like, etc., etc. And so I take it to the mechanic shop, the mechanics look at it and they go, one of two things. You either blew a rod in your engine, which means one of the metal pieces blew through the metal casing, which pretty much means I exploded my engine. Or I blew my turbo. Both were going to be extremely costly. And so what ends up happening is Friday morning on my birthday, I go and test drive that exact same car that I was looking for, that Lexus IS 350 at CarMax, and I just loved it. I was like, immediately fell in love with it. It was an awesome car, and Sean and I discuss it, and lo and behold, we had more than enough money to put a nice down payment on it, and then to make my payments, my monthly payments, pretty easy, which I could pay off within a few years. So that's my story. And how it relates to all this, right? It's not that bad, it's just a car. But how it relates to why is life falling apart before the manifestation, I could have looked at that situation and gone, mother effer, all these things, bad things are happening. My car blew up, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this. But instead, I had a little mindfulness and I thought, you know what, I can do this. Sean and I discussed it. We're okay financially to do this. It's something that I really want. She kept, reiterating to me, if it was me that this happened to, how would you respond? And I said, well, I'd do the same thing that you're saying to me. And like, I'd put this amount down, and we'd be able to have an easy payment. And she said, well, that's what I'm telling you. You're my partner. So wonderfully, I'm shouting out to my amazing wife, my perfect wife, who's on a dog walk. She can't hear this right now, but if she ever watches this, she will. She doesn't really watch my videos, so that's okay. But so why is this happening vibrationally? That's what the point of this. We got 6 minutes in, and I told you a story about how I got a brand new car after it just fell apart on me. So let's just draw it up, shall we? We have little us, body, physical body us. So this is just physical body us. And we've done these in the videos before. I'm a content person. I'm not smiling yet. I'm just kind of content. So we have little you, physical you, human you. Let's get oh my God, I did not spell physical right. Physical. Let's get physical. That's our song, right? So that's our physical us. Now we have this broader non-physical version of us, which we could call our inner being, our soul. I've been hearing a lot of these differentiations between spirit and soul lately. I'm not a huge fan personally, but I understand what people are saying. Spirit could be the entire collection of who we are, and the soul is that extension of spirit. So we could do that. But anyways, so then we have this huge version of us. We're going to call this our inner being. Inner being. And we're going to have this expansive, non-physical, I'm going to spell physical right this time, version of us. Now this non-physical version of us is this joyful, expanded version of us. Big, huge. Now, this version is the eternal version. This version is who we are after we leave these bodies. But this version is always loving this version, because as our physical bodies experience contrast, as our physical bodies experience not enough money, not enough health or poor health, not healthy relationships, heck, even driving on the road, when our physical bodies experience things that are unwanted, sorry, my eye is itchy. When our physical bodies experience and our minds experience things in this 3D physical reality that are unwanted, we give rise to expansion. So it goes unwanted situation, causes expansion. And so from this broader, right, this causes this. From this broader non-physical standpoint, our inner being is constantly expanding in direct proportion to the unwanted situations that we are experiencing in our physical body. Let me say that for those in the back. Our non-physical version of ourselves, our inner being, is expanding in direct proportion to the unwanted situations that we are experiencing in our physical reality. I hope you heard that. That is the most important thing for us to remember, because after understanding that our inner beings are constantly expanding in direct proportion to the unwanted physical experiences, that means that in order for our physical bodies to experience the situations that the physical, non-physical version of ourselves is, the inner being is living, all we have to do is close the gap of alignment, and that's where the emotion comes in. So let me just that's it. Excuse me, I keep burping, and I apologize for anyone watching. This non-physical inner being aspect of us, this broader non-physical perspective, is expanding and becoming, living the life that we are asking for as a result of those unwanted situations. Okay, so I got it. For those in the back row, you got to hear that and you got to remember that. Now, in order for us to play that catch-up game, because this is always going to happen, it's never going to stop happening. That is why we're going to constantly have desire. So that, just going off on a little tangent really quickly, that is why we also have to accept the current situation. Once we accept that we are we have to accept this. One, we must accept, oh my gosh, I cannot spell right now, I'm sorry. Accept the unwanted situation. Once we accept where we are, I am in Reno, Nevada right now, right? I am in Reno. Or I'm in Reno. I'm gonna use that black because that's our physical. I'm in Reno. In order for me to get to San Francisco, let's say, I am going to have to play an emotional journey. So in order to get to Reno, I have to put my little GPS coordinates in. This is all Abraham Hicks. I'm just gonna kind of bastardize this for a second. Hopefully not. I'm hopefully gonna do it justice, and Abraham will come through me, just like Esther does. So if I want to get to Reno, my physical body, right? If I'm in my physical body, Reno, and I want to get to my inner being, non-physical body, I have to put these GPS coordinates in, right? So I'm gonna get to San Francisco. That's where my inner being is, right? So they're living there and they're happy. In order for me to make this journey, it is an emotional journey from disappointment in the unwanted situation, or fear or anger or frustration. Any of those emotions typically represent this disconnection from where my inner being is. And so when I choose thoughts that are more in alignment with how my inner being is thinking about the situation that I am wanting, or how they are living that situation, I feel better, right? So that's the emotional journey. That is my emotional, right? Abraham talks about the emotional guidance system. Oh my gosh, emotional guidance system is this right here. If I get to Reno and I put in my GPS coordinates and I get to Sacramento, and all of a sudden I go, oh, I'm not in San Francisco yet, right? I'm gonna get disappointed. And if I turn back around, if I keep doing that, back to Reno, okay, back to Reno, I'm not in San Francisco yet, back to Reno, I'll never get to San Francisco. And so we have to play this emotional journey. And so we have this, excuse me, in our top section where our inner being, our non-physical essence is, they're always experiencing love. They're always experiencing joy, gratitude, right? So this is where they exist, in this vibrational frequency, right? That is a vibrational frequency. And then we go all the way down to 7, which is contentment. 7, which is contentment. And then below contentment, we have boredom, which is 8. And then we have all the way down to 22. This is just Abraham again. Remember, Abraham, if you want to look more in depth, look up Abraham Hicks' teaching. And down in 22, oh, you can't really see 22. I'll put 22 right here, I think. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, sure. Is despair, depression, powerlessness. Powerlessness. So each one of these emotions is simply my GPS coordinates allowing me to understand how close I am to my inner being or not. And so as I resonate in this love, joy, gratitude, or even just happiness, right? 4 is happiness, I think. Happiness, any one of these positive, you could call them positive feeling emotions. This 1 through 7 is my allowing state. It's where I'm allowing my inner or my body to resonate in the same frequency range as my inner being. And so as I vibrate on that same frequency in the of my inner being, the situation that I want has to come forward. It has to come through me into expression. Right? That is just like our frequency ranges with radio towers. If I put my brand new cars, going back to our original story, if I put my tuner on one, right? If I'm in 111.1, that sounds like a sexy FM. That's a sexy vibration right there. If I want to get 111.1 FM, I need to be in resonance in my physical form with 111.1. Sorry, somebody just sent something so I can't see. 111.1. If I am in despair or powerlessness, and I'm down here, and we'll just play the game, I played this last time, 66.6 FM, that is how my body is resonating based upon my thoughts. There's no possible way that I can get the manifestation that only this vibration of 1111 FM will allot. And I hope that makes sense. So the way you get from 66.6 FM to 111.1 FM, now that's the real caveat. Zach, how do I get into more love and joy and gratitude? Zach, how do I get to happiness? I can't even get to contentment. Oh wow, look how low I am. I'm in despair and powerlessness. I feel like the world is working against me. I feel like, nothing is going right. The world is falling apart. My life sucks. Right? I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. The way you move from here to here is one thought at a time. It's one action. It's one step forward at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And there are processes that I've done many videos on already. If you want to check them out, go through my, like all the manifestation videos that I've already done. But some of those are as simple as getting our attention, because our inner being is here. We are in an unwanted in an unwanted situation. I don't have enough money. Let's just say I don't have enough money. I am broke right now. So I'm feeling despair, powerlessness. I'm resonating at 66.6 FM when it comes to money. The best way to just elevate this vibration and start moving upward, because our inner being is always going to be pulling us forward. Always going to be pulling us forward. That's part of the law of attraction that we forget as well. Our inner being, going back to my story, I had already decided that I want a Lexus IS 350 all-wheel drive. I had decided that. My inner being said, "You've decided this? I am now on the vibrational frequency of that." And so, it is harder, it really is truly harder for us to resist our physical bodies just naturally aligning with our inner beings, because our inner beings have a stronger pulling power towards us, okay? Our inner beings have a strong pulling power. That's why we say what you want wants you. What you seek is seeking you. Our inner beings have this magnetic power and are wanting to move through us and bring us forward into their elevated emotional state, right? This, I'm going to block this off because I keep pointing that, but that's just step one of changing your situation. But is of this, they're always here. So our inner being is never, ever going to leave this elevated state, this love, joy, gratitude state. That's the beauty of the emotions, is because it is harder for us to hold ourselves in a state of despair and powerlessness than it is to just surrender and let go and naturally elevate to where our inner being is. That's why people that tend to meditate a lot, right, they're in this letting go state, this letting go practice. when they let go consciously, they are able to take that 20-minute practice every day and bring that into the rest of their life so that they stay in a surrendered, letting go experience. We can call it a surrendered letting go vibration. And in a surrendered letting go vibration, what happens is we naturally move from this physical, unwanted situation where we're holding ourselves in despair, powerlessness, into this elevated vibrational state of 111 point or 111.1 FM, which is joy and gratitude. This is that elevated state. I'm pointing all these arrows here, so I don't know if you zoom on your camera if you want to see that. But love, gratitude is always here. This is where our inner being is. It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's where they exist. We are just simply holding ourselves in a resisted state, and we do that through our thoughts, through our words, and through our behavior. But it starts with our thoughts. And so as we hold ourselves into the thought, that's where the law of attraction comes in on a lot of this. It comes in on all of it. As we hold a specific thought, as Abraham Hicks would say, within 18 seconds, a thought that matches vibrationally that thought will come in. So within, or is it 17 seconds, excuse me. Within 68 seconds, we will change ourselves by holding ourselves in that thought frequency range. We can either drop ourselves down a level, right? Or we can elevate ourselves an emotional level. And so surrender is probably the most effective tool when you are in this despair, powerlessness. I think that's, maybe you're not watching this, find yourselves to be a Christian or religious person. But if you are, I think that's the beauty of religion, is we can surrender our worries, our concerns, our woes to a greater power. And you don't have to be religious to do that. I just think it oftentimes helps people. Sorry, my left eye is just itchy like a mofo. It allows people to surrender, and what they do in surrender is they elevate into this state. And so once we elevate into this state, we're in this completely allowing state where our physical bodies have no choice but to catch up to our inner beings, right? And so when life is falling apart before manifestation, kind of bringing it full circle, what's happening is our inner beings are causing this disillusion of all the unnecessary components for the fulfillment of our desire. The fulfillment of the desire is known perfectly by our inner beings, right? The little mind, the physical mind, the ego, we can call it the ego, wants to figure out the hows. But the ego mind doesn't have the perspective that our spirit, that our inner being, non-physical essence has. And so when we surrender, when we let go to this broader non-physical perspective, and we say, my goal today is simply going to be to elevate myself into a vibration at least above contentment. Once we can do that, then the inner being can move and flow freely into your experience. Organize all of the situations, circumstances, people that are going to bring to fulfillment, to fruition, the wanted situation that you have been so desperately asking and seeking. And so that is why life starts falling apart. You have to let go of the old layers of the onion in order for the new seedling to kind of populate, right? The seed, going back to that initial quote, for the seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must first come completely undone. Its shell cracks, its insides spill out, and for those who didn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction. Each of us has a seedling of desire. And for that seedling of desire to come to fruition, it has to crack. From the ego mind, from this physical, lower vibrational mindset, trying to figure out the how we're going to achieve something, only causes us to create these chaos lines, right? If our inner being knows we go from unwanted situation, unwanted. We're here, we're in unwanted, unwanted. We're in this little space. And our inner being knows we want to get here into this, oh, my markers are dying, into this expanded space. If we want to get into this wanted space, wanted, our inner being knows the fastest, most direct route to here, right? But if we, in our physical, ego-minded state, try to figure out this how direction, what we typically do is we start doing these corkscrews. It's a Jeremy Bearimy, if you've ever watched The Good Place. It's Jeremy Bearimy, right? We're just doing these squiggly lines, and then, oh, we'd return back. Oh, I'm at unwanted again, and then let's return, right? And we do these. We try to figure out all these different routes. If we want the fastest, most efficient way to get to our desire, we surrender and we let go. And in that surrendered and unwanted, or letting go state, we tell ourselves, we use affirmations such as, I know that I'm going to surrender right now. And I know, inner being, you're going to direct me emotionally, moment by moment, to get to this beautiful wanted state because you're already there. So now it's just time for my physical body to play catch up to where you already are. You're already existing there. And so I'm just going to surrender. I'm going to let go. There are so many quotes. I can't even explain. Sorry, I'm just looking at the time. There are so many quotes that I have. I'll probably share some in the description of this video when it's done. That come from all different sages and enlightened people and these spiritual wise individuals who have told us throughout the ages that what we wants us. What we seek is seeking us. This inner being has a vibrational frequency, and our physical body has to catch up to that. It has no choice. The only time that we're not totally in alignment with this space is when we are holding ourselves back. And so if we can sit for 20 minutes, letting go, just feeling our breath in and out in this Vipassana meditative state, we will get insights, we will get inspiration, we will get motivation to go take some form of action in order to fulfill the desire that we are so desperately seeking. When we know and we remind ourselves that our inner being is already in that expanded, beautiful state, experiencing the desire that we have already requested, our journey in our physical body only becomes letting go, surrendering, and then playing this emotional journey game where we do things that make us feel joyful. So I can listen to music. I can do a video like this. This makes me feel joyful talking to you guys. I can play with my dog. I can cuddle my wife. I can watch a funny video. I can play some music. I can make some art. I can take a walk in nature. I can eat a beautiful meal. I can spend time with my family. There are so many endless ways to create that state of letting go and joy within ourselves. We just have to start practicing those, take our attention away from this thing that I am now communicating to you on my phone, and put it on the inner state, the inner emotional guidance system. That is our way to understand our direction towards our desire. If we feel good, we are, whatever we are doing, truly feeling good, feeling joyful, we are on our way to our desire. Heck, even Abraham says, and I agree wholeheartedly, even if we're in despair or powerlessness and we move up to feeling anger or rage is a little bit more, it feels a little better than despair or powerlessness. But we don't get stuck there because that's still in a resistant state. So then we move up to frustration, or that's pretty kind of a jump. We'll just say frustration. Then we move up to pessimism, right? Then we just move up slowly and steadily, and we do that by, you can talk yourself out of this, But my preferred way of doing this, and I already did a video about it, it was about a month or two ago. My preferred way of getting out of a situation that is really, really hard emotionally for us is putting our attention on a different situation, particularly something that we enjoy. When I'm feeling in a state of discontent, frustration, sadness even, powerlessness, what I tend to do is I try to distract myself. I like to exercise, I like to take a walk, and when I'm taking a walk, I try to be as mindful of nature around me as I can. I try to play some music. That always changes. It seems like the vibration of the music, the guitar against my chest, that helps kind of alleviate that lower vibrational state for me. But what it really is it's a way of just letting go of the mind. When we let go of the thoughts that are constantly streaming into our heads, once that is achieved, we naturally move up, 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 up. And so if it takes 68 seconds to move from one emotional vibration to a level up, if I meditate for 20 minutes and I completely let go of all thought, or I do something for 20 minutes that I can let go completely of all thought, within 20 minutes, you should unquestionably be within this allowing space. You should at least be into contentment, potentially optimism, maybe happiness. If you are really good at letting go, you should, right? Don't should on me. I'm not going to should on you. I promise I won't should on you. That's a should with a D, not a you got it. I should, by the law of attraction, move myself up into a state of love, joy, and gratitude. A practice that I've been incorporating that maybe you would like to practice for yourself is I put a timer on before I go into my meditation. And I put a timer on for 3 minutes to 5 minutes before and it's like a little meditation timer. Sorry, my eye is just so itchy right now. Allergy season and where I'm at, it's dry. I put a timer on for 5 minutes, and then I have my secondary timer, which is for 15 or 20 minutes. I put my hand on my heart, and I just start saying in my head anything that comes to mind that I'm grateful for. So I immediately, and this is how I always start, I will start saying, and it's just in my head, I'm grateful for Shauna. I'm grateful for Odin. I'm grateful that Shauna is healthy. I'm grateful that Odin is healthy. I'm grateful that my heart is beating in perfect rhythm right now. I'm grateful that my lungs are accepting this oxygen and extracting it and utilizing it. I'm grateful for my lungs. I'm grateful for my stomach. I'm grateful for my intestines. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can hear. I'm grateful that I can smell. I'm grateful for my wonderful house. I'm grateful that I have an AC unit that keeps me cool. I'm grateful for, right? So it's a practice. It's this rampage of appreciation before I get into my meditation where I can just let go and surrender. And it throws me directly into this elevated emotional state so that when I am in that completely surrendered state, my physical body is completely in alignment with my inner being. And therefore, from this state, I'm in complete alignment. My manifestations, the things that I'm desiring, are going to show up. Now, here's the final caveat. I already referenced this earlier in the video. We're almost going to be done. We're at 33 minutes. Woo! You have to let go. We have to let go of the hows in which the situation is going to arise. I have to let go of how I want the situation to arise, right? I don't want to go through my Jeremy Bearimy corkscrews. I have to let go of this how. What I have to do in order for this manifestation to show up as quickly and as efficiently as I want is I have to declare specifically what I want. And I don't even have to declare that for myself. My inner being knows exactly what I want. My inner being knew that I wanted that Lexus IS 350 all-wheel drive way before I knew. It was expanded and it was like, come on, Zach, catch up. Play the catch-up game. I'm over here. I'm in this wanted state. I'm in this vibration, right? Get over here. And I kept thinking, how am I going to achieve that? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get the extra money to afford it? How am I not? Doesn't matter. That's not my job. My job is to declare completely, clearly, and specifically what I want. And then once I declare what I want, It is to align with what I want by understanding my emotional guidance system and creating a story in my mind. I can create a story, I can create the story of what is, and I'm going to keep manifesting what is, or I can create the story of what is wanted. And when I create the story of what is wanted, all I'm doing is I'm aligning with this inner being that is already drawing me in. I'm already being drawn in to my non-physical inner being essence, and it's wanting to move through me. And and if I create a story in my head and start telling myself that beautiful story as if I'm already experiencing, that's why visualization is so powerful. Create the story in your mind and ask yourself, how do I feel? How would I feel now? Or how would I feel if my desire were present now? How would I feel if my desire were in this moment present? How would I feel now if my desire were I experiencing the fullness of my desire? That's just another game to get ourselves in alignment with this. So there's so many ways to achieve alignment with your inner being. But the core gist of all of this is simply the surrender, the letting go, and understanding that the emotion is communicating to me if I'm connected, I am in alignment, or I am out of alignment. I am pinching myself off. That's it. And so at the core of all this, why is your life falling apart before it's manifesting? It's because your inner being is already trying to draw you in. Your inner being is already in that healed, financially abundant, perfect relational state. But you keep observing what is happening. You keep observing external reality instead of recognizing within me is this non-physical, broader perspective. Those are all Abraham's terms. Within me is this beautiful, non-physical, expanded inner being, spiritual essence, who is expanding in direct proportion to all the things that I am requesting through the unwanted experiences that I'm having throughout each and every day. And so as I let go of observing what is happening in my external reality through whatever process necessary, maybe not drugs. Drugs doesn't seem to have the same effect. Drugs and addictions, those things don't, drugs, alcohol, those things don't have the same effect. So I'm going to throw that caveat in there. But as I consciously make the choice to let my mind go through whatever process works best for me, I am going to move into this expanded state where my inner being is going to move through me in the fastest, most efficient way possible until what I am wanting, to the desire that I've had, I'm experiencing. So everything else is going to fall apart. It's going to shatter. Your relationships that are no longer serving you are going to shatter. The ailments in your physical body may get worse before they get better. The money that you so desire, you are going to hit AKA dark night of the soul, if it's something really magnificent, something really big and desired in your life. You are going to go through a shattering of all the illusion of what you thought was important. And even the thing that you think is important, that you really want, your inner being might say, I've got something better for you. You've truly asked for something better, but you're not allowing yourself to feel it. You're not allowing yourself to even truly want it and desire it. And so in that case, I'm just going to have to shatter all the illusions within your experience. And instead of looking at those things as negative things, recognize that this falling apart is just so that I can grow from that seedling into that beautiful peach tree, and then, or cherry tree. And then I can produce fruit for all of the birds, for all of the people, right? Okay, so that's that. I kind of went off on a tangent. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I love you so much. As always, how I like to conclude these videos is my inner being told me that I am safe, I am loved, I am protected, and I am worthy. And that is your inner being's promise to you as well. I kind of went off on a lot of tangents. I probably reiterated the same thing so much. Next time, if you're watching this, feel free to give me some feedback and comments. I love when you guys share your feedback and comments. But yeah, this is a whole list of stuff. A lot of these are just Abraham's teachings. These are teachings I've experienced myself through my own conversations with my own inner being, in my own hypnosis practice, talking to other people's inner beings. This is the surefire way to to understand that life is falling apart because you are a seedling cracking, you are separating, your insides are spilling out, and you are going to become a beautiful oak tree. That is what you are becoming. You have no choice but to become this. It's going to be the easiest route if you just simply surrender and let go and trust, and then start using different processes to recognize that this inner being, expanded state of who you truly are, is going to pull you upward. And the disillusion of things that you are holding on to or clinging to is really for your ultimate fulfillment. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you so much. Until our next live video, I love you. Be well, my friends. And remember, like I just said, from my inner being to your inner being, to you, you are safe, you are loved, you are protected, and you are worthy. I love you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Feedback down below. Give me your feedback. I'd love to hear it, or things you want to talk about next time. Until then, bye, my friends. Well, I got